Hey guys, Mystic Eve here from Center of Mystic Arts, not at Center of Mystic Arts, obviously. I am here in Georgia on tour up and down the East Coast. It's been crazy. Lots of downloads and information. Things happen and vibrate much faster here than in Costa Rica. So, but I've been very busy. Anyway, keeping this short and fast. So, I've been dealing with, air conditioner and being separate from nature and stuff, and that's been kind of affecting me, but I've been doing really well. But yesterday I went out, there's a spot on the front porch that gets the afternoon sun, and anyway, it's warm. My mother has some lawn chairs there. And anyway, it's the front porch though. So it's like, it's not the back porch. Anyway, which is relevant if you know how I read birth charts. But I received this video from the sun worship practice. Now, the sun worship practice came to me the same time I tattooed my feet, and there's the other one that I'm not that good at yoga right now. Anyway, I'm gonna the sun worship ceremony that came to me in San Juanillo that has evolved over 3 years is one of the most, or has become, it took time, one of the most profound practices that I strive very strictly to do daily, but sometimes I don't, right? But I'm not going to be hard on myself. Anyway, it can be as simple as laying out in the noon sun. I like to do it nude in the jungle, so, alone. Or with people who are okay with nudity. But as I was sitting on my mother's front porch in Columbus, Georgia, in the middle of a, neighborhood in the city, sort of, I received the downloads for this video from the sun. I highly recommend any of you, spend as much time in a direct ray of light as possible. Think of a cat, that finds that one spot in the apartment, kind of push the cat out of the way and curl up in that sun spot if that's what you have to do. But anyway, question: where do we go to find the secrets? Who knows the secrets? Well, I mean, there's a lot of hearsay. It's a secret, right? So, everybody knows about the secret. And there's a very simple answer. And if you are one of those vibrations that not necessarily that can't keep a secret, right? Because I know how to keep a secret. But I know what, when, and why the secrets to be presented are. And if you are one of those, and you remember past lives, sometimes we get burned at the stake for this kind of stuff. But my guides are telling me anyway, and it's not a secret anymore. It's not. I've mentioned that before. To become illuminated, I mean, it makes sense to sit under the sun, right? The sun is where the lumens come from, right? Like, there's a lot. God speaks through symbols. I should ask the question first. Why can't I hear God speak? Like in the past, like in the Bible, and like, well, if you do some research and you dig deep and you take time, the truths is that God speaks through symbols. Symbols, very simple symbols. It can be as simple as a circle. As a circle. As the way you put your hands, like, yeah, peace. Like, anyway, symbols. The lotus. The cup. The triangle. The triangle. All of the symbols of the astrological chart, which, gosh, this is like I want to show my tattoos off day, but it's cold and I'm not gonna, they'd kick me off if I did this naked. So anyway, that's not gonna happen. I have all of the symbols of the zodiac and the planets tattooed on my arm. And, focusing on these symbols, the symbols are important because there's no words. Like, words, and the word is important. If you've spoken with Thoth, well, how the fuck do I speak with Thoth? Like, symbols. The caduceus. Focus on that symbol. Like, like this. I like doing it like this sometimes. And I like holding my breath when I do it. But I'm not really gonna do that on TV. Yeah, I did. I totally did. Doing it wherever the fuck you want to do it. Symbols. Pluto happens to be in conjunct with my sun. So, anyway. Pluto has to do with secrets. Focusing on Pluto. Uranus, like all the planets are good. Like you got to do them each and stay focused. The focus is important, which is why we focus on the symbols. Recently, the symbols of the Ankh have come into play for me personally. That one's a nice one. The Ankh leads me down all kinds of rabbit holes, which I've already been down the Rosicrucian and the Knights Templar and the Illuminati rabbit hole downloads, which leads to the Philosopher's Stone, which leads to stone, which leads to the Ark of the Covenant. These symbols speak if only we focus on them. Reading books is fun. I like reading books. I like spending a lot of time in a book. Books are so fucking magical. And then I was just thinking about it in Facebook. A friend of mine posts this thing about being reminded of Myst, the video game back in the day, of being the magic is in the books. Those of us who are really connected to Thoth have always had this connection to books. Why do we even want to get tattoos of a stack of books? Like, why do we love, or personally, I guess, love all of the library in Beauty and the Beast, I used to spend a lot of time in libraries. They're not the same anymore. They're not. Yeah, I always used to get upset about that. Like, I mean, it depends on where you go, and I was never really exposed to a lot of beautiful libraries, unfortunately, but I knew I could feel what they would feel like. And the book, the Emerald Tablets, should be read out loud at all times, as much as possible, by everyone. Like, you should listen to it read. You should also read it out loud, even if you're by yourself. I have started doing this every night. Usually I have Sophie with me, so I do have someone to read to, which is awesome. Um, oh, why? That brings you back to brings me back to Pluto and the inner child and why we love to listen to a story and be read, and you know how we all interpret these symbols is very important. um, and the importance is the feeling, or at least one of the keys. There's a lot of keys, there's a lot of doors. Okay. Keyholes are important to pay attention to. um, which brings me to metal locks and keys, which brings me to alchemy, okay, which brings me to copper. I do love that copper. I do so much. Which brings me all the way to pirates and thieves. Any of these you need to focus on for a good long time. Spend some time. Time. Space and time is important. So above, so below is important. Anyway, I need to go on. I must continue with the elements: earth, fire, water, air. Get to know Akash or ether. I mean, Vril, prana. Get to know that element. But it takes time, right? There's a process, and learning the most powerful processes are through your own experience, right? Your own perspective. So with that, we're gonna do a card spread. And I don't know, these videos are supposed to be getting shorter, but I don't know if they're getting shorter or longer. But I'm just saying what I'm told to say. I do a lot of sun gazing. I do a lot of scrying into anything, right? I really like scrying. Crystal balls happen to be my favorite. Crystals, any crystal. Stones, which brings me back to stone, and then bounces me back to mirrors. Anyway, water, which brings me to the cup. Flutes, oh my god, the circles, which brings me back to emerald tablets and moving in circles and not angles. Or learning how to navigate the angles, maybe. At least knowing that they're angles and they're circles. And that they feel different, So, let's see who is in the center. My favorite, the Jack of Hearts, the emo kid, Pluto. He is. Oh, he's so sensitive. being a dwarf planet is just feel into that. Don't put anything else onto it. Just, I mean, labels, this and that. Sensitive. I'm empathic. I feel. I just want to feel. I'm just a kid who wants to feel her own fucking emotions. And let me fucking do that, right? Let me dance in the woods naked if I want to. Let me do what the fuck I want to. But no, you can't say that. That's a swing. That's over there. I see it, I feel it, but I also feel like, let me be a hermit. This is where I spent most of my time, is in the bedroom, listening to music, the emotions, the water, the element, the water. Okay. All right, moving along. What is in the north? What is in our minds? Oh, the 10 of Wands. These are clubs. But they mean the same thing, which is fire. Fire. 10. 10 is a good number. Numerology and math. I like seeing them in sacred geometry more than trying to figure them out on paper, personally. But I've made my peace with that. God speaks in numbers, man. Like, that's, I guess, a secret, but it's a true one. Numbers. The number 10 is like, the first number after 9. And I know it gets ridiculous. I laugh at myself all the time because it's very simple. It's very simple. And in my journals, I remember writing about keeping it simple and how it's like making coffee, right? You got all these fucking beans. You got to grind them up and then pour water through them to get the coffee. Alchemy, maybe. Our minds need to be able to move in circles. What is that? Like, when the first time I heard, because I listened to the audio version of the Emerald Tablets, the first time I ever heard it came to me on YouTube. Yay, YouTube! Shout out to YouTube. Anyway, stay focused. The focus. The laser focus. The number 10. Passing a door. Doors. Keyholes. Actually, the club does the club kind of look like? I mean, there's a lot of symbols. To keep all the symbols in your mind. Okay, I gotta move along. Okay. The south. What is grounding us is earth. And the 9. Right before 10. It's 9. And earth. Diamonds. The diamond is the definite, symbol of the perfected earth, right? I think more so than discs, which I don't want to get in on the, other people's interpretations. You want me to say that? There's a difference in meditating on a golden coin. Well, gold. Gold. Well, maybe not a coin. Money. In whatever form. And a diamond. Anyway, don't think too much about it because literally, there's a lot going on. There's a lot to assemble. There's everything to assemble. I found that I like looking at all of them like a kaleidoscope, which brings me to like people trying to keep up with the conversation, okay? Grounded in a diamond, the the crystals, okay? What's in the east, what's coming up over the hill to shed light on a brand new day is Jack of Wands. Fire. The Fire Kid. Fire is mentioned a lot. Um, so we did focus on water, and then there's earth, right? Um, Fire. Uh, oh God, the fire. Fire's in the prana. Fiery passion. Feel that. Feel it like a kid feels it. That first love, that first touch, that first kiss. Yeah. Every kiss should be a first kiss. What is at the end of the day? We're gonna crawl into bed with the King of Swords. Which brings me to another symbol, the skull and crossbones. I was wondering if you were gonna show up. The skull and crossbones. Feel it. just see it. Just focus on it. The skull. I mean, pirates comes to mind really heavily, right? Like that fucking pirate flag. Like, I always loved that flag. I was like, yes. I want to be on that ship. But there's other perspectives to that ship too, right? You want to get on the right pirate ship, like the one that Robin Hood's on, and the good pirates. Anyway, the King of Swords. I mean, the Knights Templar comes to mind. I mentioned him, which, I mean, skull and crossbones, Baphomet. That symbol has always been around because I have an older brother who also is awake, and he discovered Baphomet very early and was very into it, And I was like, oh my God, no, that's too far. As a kid, It's a symbol that I feel takes time to really get to know. Those relationships where it's like, it's been 10 years now, so I can finally tell you the relationships that last a long time. The King of Swords. Cutting one's head off. Skull, right? That's the severing of the head. Skull and crossbones. Death. Oh, Anubis. Pluto. My Pluto sees everything. Yeah. And I guess that's that, right? Keeping it short. I hope you enjoyed. Thank you so much for watching. And you might want to check out my other stuff. I've got my spiritual text self-published on Amazon. And I got a Patreon account. I got a website. I got a temple, just reach out. make a comment and like and subscribe. That's what I'm supposed to say. Yeah, I get lost there. So anyway, thank you so much, and in love and light. Ciao.